and you'll have cosmetically enhanced test tube babies or whatnot. But
Super babies! Bro,
yes,
give
you'll
me
have
my
the
kid.
custom designed babies.
My kid will be named John. He's gonna come out the womb, Halo music playing, 7 foot tall, already 35 years old.
The Mjolnir armor will just get shit out like 3 seconds later.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 96 of the Thought Patrol podcast.
96. It's 96.
96. There you go. So this episode, we're going to be chilling with y'all tonight. Hope everyone has had a good weekend. I have had quite a busy one. Quite a lot of moving around. Quite a lot of discovering going on in the last week, and I'll share that when we get there. Just a condensed version of it, so we don't sit on it too long. But it's me and Shawn. We're hanging out. We actually got quite a bit of news this week too. A few things. Apparently, being a gamer is now a mental disorder, so we could touch on that for a little bit. New call.
Again, thought they disproved that, and then so they fought it, and they disproved it again, and then now somebody's officially made it a mental disorder again.
The WHO, World Health Organization, has officially made it a disease, which we've talked here and there. I mean, we talked about it causing aggression, so I can see.
But they said that like a year ago.
Well, yeah, but this is more. I know we talked about it and that it was in works. It just takes takes a long time to get set in motion, but it's finally this, and it's a particularly it could be a addictive substance to a degree if it goes unchecked. I could see that happening to like kids and shit. So I see it. And there's nothing wrong about it being this way. So I've seen memes all over the place though, Shawn, because at the same time, like the gender dysphoria, that thing was no longer made. I don't know if it's gender dysphoria, but it's something.
What?
It was no longer made a mental disorder. So now everyone's being like, gamers are now the most depressed group, kind of thing.
So wait, let me see if I can understand this correctly. Something that is absolutely by fact caused by issues with the brain, that is absolutely a mental disease, a mental illness, a mental disorder, that is admitted as a mental disorder by science, is not a mental disorder.
Let me see. Make sure. Yeah. Let's see.
Playing too much video games.
Transgender is no longer recognized as a disorder by the WHO. So, and this happened at the same time.
God. So just because SJWs want it to be normalized, that doesn't even make any sense.
Let me add more context before we move on. Like, we haven't even really opened a can of worms. So, just real quick, this is BBC News. BBC News. Transgender health issues will no longer be classified as mental and behavioral disorders under big changes to the WHO's Global Manual of Diagnoses. A newly approved version instead places issues of gender incongruence under a chapter on sexual health. A WHO expert said it now understands transgender is, quote, not actually a mental health condition. Human Rights Watch says the change will have a liberating effect worldwide. Apparently, it goes in the latest manual that the ICD-11 gender incongruence is defined as a marked and persistent incongruence between a person's experienced gender and assigned sex. And the previous version is considered a gender identity disorder in the chapter entitled Mental and Behavioral Disorders. Dr. Lael Say, a reproductive health expert at the WHO, said, quote, "It was taken out of mental health disorders because we had a better understanding that it was not actually a mental health condition, and leaving it there was causing stigma. In order to reduce the stigma, we are ensuring access to necessary health interventions." This was placed on a different chapter. So
because of stigma, which is something that science is not responsible for, they changed how it's viewed. But that's still stupid. Like, they're normal people. That doesn't mean that their brain works perfect.
Yeah.
Like, you have a problem with your brain is a girl, your body is a boy, or vice versa, and therefore that's a fucking problem. And it doesn't mean you're not a normal person just because you have a fucking issue with your brain. But from a science perspective, that's no different than any other problem where the brain doesn't function the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
I don't know. That just seems silly to me to change something just because people's feelings.
Yeah.
Like, it's science, but as long as it's being treated the same, I don't. It is what it is.
It just seems like it might be a semantics discussion. It's
You
just
need a different label just so if you feel better about yourself, then fine. But the flaw here isn't in the fact that people, I don't know, the flaw is that people still aren't viewing them just as anyone else, because that's absolutely what they are. That's the biggest problem.
yeah.
If humanity would stop being dumb shits, then we wouldn't have stupid shit like this happening. But on the same note, it is a fucking brain problem. It is a severely mental. That is entirely a mental thing.
Yeah.
It's so weird to me.
Yeah, but then literally within like the same week, the WHO added gaming disorder to its database of diseases. The WHO, the Public Health Division of the United Nations, this is GameSpot, by Eddie Macick, our boy, to its registry of officially recognized diseases. This happened over the weekend when the WHO officially adopted the 11th revision of the International Statistic Clarification of Diseases and Related Health Problems, ICD. All 194 members who voted of the WHO voted unanimously, I read that wrong, to adopt the revision. It says gaming disorder is categorized by a pattern of persistent or recurrent gaming behavior, online or offline. The official description goes to say that gaming disorders can include the following: 1, impaired control over gaming; 2, e.g. onset, frequency, intensity, duration, termination, context; 2, increasing priority given to gaming to the extent that gaming takes precedence over life, interest in daily activities; continuation or escalation of gaming despite the occurrence of negative consequences. So as you would treat a normal addictive substance, basically. Which I mean, again, it's not. It's just I just find it funny that like this the same time it happened, and then everyone's like sprouting up like gamers are the most depressed and shit like that. But it's interesting seeing how these changes are coming to be, and it does bring a point to how you said, even the way it's titled in the BBC article, that it seems like it is almost something that has been kind of pressured out in a way. For this change, and although there is stigma around it being considered a disorder or a disease, and it can easily solved by people not being jackasses to everyone else and people being a little bit more understanding of everyone else.
That should be the focus, though. The focus should be social change, not trying to make science adapt itself to you or facts adapt themselves to you because you're different. What needs to happen is society needs to treat you differently, needs to grow, needs to evolve. But other people don't. You don't force change on other people. That's not how it works. You have to encourage change, and part of that is by becoming the change you want other people to embrace. And I see too frequently people that are part of marginalized groups, which sucks. But rather than becoming the change they want, rather than pulling a Gandhi and becoming the change they want to see in the world, instead, they decide to not change and make everyone else change instead. And that's not how it works. Like, you have to lead with positivity. I mean, I spent the majority of my youth, my young youth, being picked on because I looked different. And then when I was in high school, I was picked on because I looked different. And it wasn't until something clicked in my brain and I realized that I was bigger and stronger than everyone else. And because I liked the way that I looked, that I might as well own it rather than looking a certain way and hiding. And it was just like a difference in perception. But from that point on, I carried myself differently. I didn't look at the ground when I walked around. I looked forward. When somebody confronted me, I confronted them eye to eye. I squared my shoulders. I carried myself differently. And that quite literally made all the change. Like, people treated me differently. I went from being a geek and a dork and a nerd with no friends to being a cool ass goth kid who had friends all across the campus. If anybody like decided that they were going to push it and actually try and fight me, I would actually think my way through the fight and hit them rather than blindly panicking. Like, it was all a change in thought. That was the biggest difference that I made. But I showed other people that I was worthy of respect by carrying myself that way. And when somebody didn't respect me, I approached them with kindness and intelligence, and I encouraged them to. And the only time that I approached somebody with brutishness was when there was literally no other option, when I had no other option except for to force them to take a second look. And that is rare. Like, there were so many times when I had people that were ready to smash me just because I looked different. I mean, smash me like with a heavy object, not smash me like bang me.
Hey.
And I talked my way out of it. There was a one dude who fucking was gonna destroy me, and he was like, I seem to remember him being 11 feet tall and terrifying and all muscles. And at the end of him about to destroy me, like fists in the air and everything, he just started laughing, put me down, pat me on the head, and bought me a fucking soda. You know, like, I don't know. I don't even know where I'm going with this. Whatever. Move on. So the World Health Organization is dumb. Surprise.
Don't be a dickhead to people. And also, don't try and change something. I mean, it's so weird because, like, it's understanding that you don't want to be telling someone who's experiencing issues like this that what they're going through is a disease, disorder, negative ideas. But again, if you just,
it is.
That's completely understandable because that's what it's been diagnosed as, because it is a malfunction in the brain, and all those have to a degree. They just come with their own negative things that come with them. But it all comes down to when you speak to that person. If you're treating them like another human being, you're treating them with respect, and to a degree, not bringing them down for something that they're going through. It doesn't mean that you have to change everything that labels that person to something happy and good, because it's weird. Oh man, it's so weird.
Mental health has always had a stigma. The problem is that people don't want to admit, or that it's just socially ingrained, that the brain doesn't need doctors like the body does. And it absolutely does. There was a study done years ago that I can't cite that was something like 80% of people out there need therapy. They need a psychologist or a psychiatrist or a therapist to help them work through things, and they're sliding into negative patterns that harm themselves, but they don't get it because they don't think to get brain doctors. They just think to get body doctors. You get sick, you go to a doctor, but when you're not feeling well upstairs, you just tough it out. That's the way life looks at things, and sometimes that's true, but too frequently, instead of going and seeking somebody out to see if we need help, or because the therapist will tell you, no, you just need to tough it out.
Okay.
Like, there's nothing seriously wrong with you. But I mean, a good therapist. A bad therapist will keep you coming in and raking in the money and do nothing. But
yeah.
That's any bad doctor. But a good doctor is going to bring you in, talk to you, and tell you, no, just nut up or shut up. But they'll do it politely. Yeah. I know people that have had that happen. They went to their therapist. Like, a therapist is one thing because that's just somebody you pay to talk to. But when you go and see a psychologist will tell you, you don't need to see me. There's nothing wrong with you here. Here's where your problem lies, and this is what I suggest, and here's a path of action, and go and do that, and then you're done. Yeah. That's it. You're not constantly going to see them. A psychologist is a doctor.
Yeah, so I looked up, quick Google search, and there's a survey done by the American Psychological Association saying that they had basically pulled... There's a telephone survey conducted of 1,000 randomly selected Americans between the ages of 18 and 64, showing that the stigma about seeking mental health treatment is increasingly less of an obstacle to getting treatment. Indeed, 48% of the polled reported a visit to a mental health professional by someone in their household this year, and more than 9 out of 10, 91%, said they would likely consult or recommend a health professional if they or a family member were experiencing a problem. So it is something that people are being more and more aware of, like you said.
It's good. I think that's where the stigma comes from. You know, like when you hear about somebody that's got clinical depression, or they've got suicidal tendencies, or this, that, the other. There's a lot of this stuff that just comes from people not thinking that they need to see a brain doc.
Yeah.
And some things can't be fixed. To date, and this is controversial, but it's true. There are things in the brain that result in homosexuality and transgenderism, and both of those things, quote, can't be fixed, end quote. And whereas I don't see either of them as something that needs fixing, I think that being able to identify transgender and prevent it would result in people that are far happier and not having to go through all those costly surgeries. Like if there was a way to go in and wire the brain correctly, they would be born as one on the inside and the outside. And that I think would be tremendously beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that we need to go and fix the gay gene, as it were. I don't think that's a thing that needs repair. That's just another kind of person. I don't really give a shit. But I've seen the horrors that transgender people have to go through firsthand. One of my close friends is a transgender woman, and she married a transgender man, which was kind of interesting.
Oh, cool. Old switcheroo.
Yeah, they switched places in a way. But and they're I don't even remember. I think they're in Massachusetts or some shit like that. But they're both happy. Like one of them works, I think, for QVC or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember what the other one does, but like I know what she went through. I knew her as a good friend when she was John, and then when she transitioned over, she doesn't make as much sense when she talks to me sometimes as Blair White does, because Blair White talks in very straightforward, logical terms, and Blair White's just not as emotional. And Blair White's a very famous transgender out there. She's also a conservative commentator, but I don't really care about the conservative part. What I care about is that Blair White doesn't sugarcoat things. She sees reality as reality. She doesn't make up a lot of SJW terms. She doesn't try and hide behind things. She doesn't try and force other people's perspective to match her own. She simply addresses reality by fact and logic and science. And she presents one way. She lives her life a certain way. She is this way.
But Shawn,
that doesn't mean that she isn't biologically male. And she never denies that.
Does she destroy libtards with facts and knowledge?
All over the place, yeah.
Good. That's all.
So hard.
All I need to know.
So hard.
Best girl
it's
slash
embarrassing
man
for me to be somebody who is liberal, and then I turn around and there's so many liberals these days that are just. And I'm not even political, but I know that my viewpoints are liberal because I have conservative friends that constantly tell me that.
Get owned, libtard.
When I turn around and like so many liberals are just yelling dumb shit, it makes me embarrassed to be in that camp. Like a lot of people who think with their brain before they act on their feelings are just getting pushed out of that camp because of it. It's a little weird, but okay. No, I think that I think if this is I think this is a stupid step, but if this is a step that needs to be taken for people to feel safer and it doesn't affect the science and the fact and the way the world runs at large, this isn't going to have some sort of negative repercussions on how we look at mental health in the future, then I don't care.
Because another thing that could be brought up is that if, again, and it sounds bad, but if it is normalized to a degree and there was some kind of breakthrough right around the corner for helping these people and not having to go through things like gender dysphoria where they can't
gender dysphoria is where you've got male brain chemistry or female brain chemistry in the opposite body. That's where transgender comes from.
If there was a breakthrough,
I think they're changing the term or something now, from what I heard.
If there was a breakthrough right around the corner to help these people not have to go through things like this and have to deal with this issue. And now, since it's been normalized to a degree, and now it's been considered not as heavy to be called a disease or to be called a disorder, and that breakthrough just never comes, then we might have missed out on something that could have helped a lot of people not have to go through that pain early in their life, kind of thing, like you were saying.
It's always going to be a disorder, but I don't think we should look at it as a disease. I also don't think addiction should be looked at as a disease. I mean, you may be born with now bear in mind, this is something that science is kind of split on, but overall people just talk of it as a disease. But it's hard for me to rectify that, because a disease is something that happens on a cellular level. There's either a foreign bacterial or infection, different things are born into your blood or into your body that changes your body chemistry and all this shit. And addiction does that, but addiction is something that you don't, I mean, the only thing that I can agree on is that you can be born susceptible because of your genetics. You may be susceptible to having an addictive personality.
Yeah.
You may be able to easily become addicted to things, and that is, I think, a weakness in your genes. But I don't see how that translates to being a disease.
Here, let's look.
I think the word doesn't feel like it fits to me. I agree that it's a big problem.
Let's see.
Although I still have a hard time seeing gaming ever becoming a mental health issue.
Let's see what disease the definition is, because I think a lot of it comes down to just the way people view, or again, the perspective of disease. And again,
it's not like you go out and catch alcoholism by hanging around the wrong person, or
but
play a video game a few times and now you've got that disease. A disease is something you can catch or inherit.
I have the definition.
Okay.
So it says a disorder of structure or function in a human, animal, or plant, especially one that produces specific signs or symptoms that affects a specific location and is not simply a direct result of physical injury. So I think, again, it could also be just a misunderstanding of disease, a misportrayal of disease as people view it. But it just comes down to something that exists within your body that does not allow it to function at what is considered a normal capacity. So it could be anything from you're playing too many video games and you're either losing sleep, becoming malnourished, not afraid of the physical or the consequential negatives of spending all your day playing video games, blah, 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 and it's affecting your life to the degree where it's hurting the people around you, kind of thing. Or if it comes to something, a miswiring in your brain leading to the idea that you have a male or female mindset in the opposite body, kind of thing. And I think it comes, again, if we were just to go off the word, if people had a better understanding of disease and how it applies to the human body, then I think that this word's fine. It's just people have to take a different look at it, being that it's something that doesn't always mean that it's negative. Like, you're not always fucked if you have a disease. Diseases can be helped. It's just you're just different. Everyone's different on some level or another. You look at your damn fingertips and you're different from every person around you. Everyone goes through their different things. It's just we need to be more understanding of one another. And I think one thing that became problematic with gender dysphoria and trans people and stuff like that is that it's been around for a bit, but there's a lot of people that aren't super fully educated. I can't say I'm one of them. And it's just seen as something different, and it's seen as so when you see something different, you treat someone differently because you're not aware of how they may or may not respond. But I think if everyone comes together and is like, hey, I'm just going to treat this person like a human being, no matter who they are, how they are. Even if you get someone that is sick, someone that does have cancer, someone that does have a disease that's more of a physical effect on their body, leprosy, for fuck's sake. Well, maybe not. You don't want to touch them because it's contagious, hella contagious. But you still treat them on the level that you would treat your next door neighbor, your friend, something like that, because they still are human and life is still precious to that degree, even if it's a different life. So I don't know. I think it's going to take like a big ol', and this might be a step towards that. I just don't want it to get to the point where now there isn't someone trying to further understand this. further, so they can, if someone does want help or seeks out help, there's further understanding of what's going on with gender dysphoria and stuff like that. And I don't think we'll get to that point where people are just going to stop researching it because it's no longer considered a disease. I think that's stupid. People still look into it and do case studies and do stuff like that, because this is just how fucking science works. You're constantly reaffirming information that was affirmed a few years ago, so we can make sure that everything is still right with the world and gravity isn't in the opposite direction every day. So I still think people looking into this, it's just there needs to be kind of a shift of perspective on words like these, and just more of a understanding for people going through things like these. Because even if it's not something you've personally dealt with, it's kind of hard to understand what's going on with that person through just reading words on a piece of paper, because you haven't been able to connect the human element to that issue that they're going through. Like, unless you're like Shawn, who has met someone that has personally gone through it, it's hard to understand as someone that doesn't have that issue. So even on top of that, so then that makes it even more difficult to side with that person and understand what they're going through, because it's not something that's prevalent in your life, and it's not a huge percentage of Americans are going through something like this. So
it's a lot. Well, in the past, a lot of them committed suicide. Like, there's a huge suicide rate amongst transgenders. I mean, before I thoroughly understood the concept, I looked at it from a warped, I wouldn't say warped, I never treated them any differently, but I definitely looked at it as something strange. You know, I was like, I looked at them as strange people, and I would say in a negative connotation. I never treated them differently because of it, but I thought of them differently because of it. And then after my friend, I drive him home to his house, and then he sits down and he's like, "Hey man, I need to talk to you." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." And he's like, "So I'm this thing." And then he explains this thing. And then the only reaction I can think to have is, "Oh, well, all right." And I realized that somewhere between him starting with "I'm transgender" and "let me explain what that is," and him finishing that explanation, I realized that I didn't care, and that none of that mattered to me, and that even though it was strange because it was different, it was no longer strange in any derogatory sense. It was just something that I would never fully I can understand on paper and text. I can understand by way of having been with him as he went through that, and he became she, and having to adjust to those pronouns and whatnot, but now she is still my good friend, still somebody that I talk to on a fairly regular basis, usually through Facebook. Every now and then we still do the same obnoxious text. She still loves metal and all kinds of goofy same shit that she loved before. To Lee, she sees herself differently. She sees herself as an entirely new person. To me, she's the same person. She just looks different.
Yeah.
Like, she hasn't really changed for me at all. And I had that conversation with her, and she's like, but that's no different. It's the same thing. It's because she's living that life, and I'm just watching it,
And you also had the human connection first. It was just a person you cared about, and then your perspective of them just happened to shift. Now, with some people, depending on the person that you are, that could affect you in a different way, depending how you view the label. But a lot of people, if they're just looking at it as the label, it can have different effects on them. And a lot of these people, when they talk about stuff like this, a lot of it is talking from a point where they haven't had a interaction with it in a person-to-person basis. Just seeing that it's not just a label of a disorder, of a disease. It's a person that's just trying their damnedest to fucking have a decent life, and is dealing with a problem that affects you at an age where you're kind of vulnerable, because you're growing into the person you want to be. I think that's a song. I just said song lyrics, but and at that time, all they just need is help, and the help can be in many different ways depending on what they're seeking for. But I think having that human connection first, knowing that it is another person on the other side of that label, it's not just the thing that they're going through, that helps people be more understanding that there's just a lot of different types of things going on with people in the world. What was I gonna say? It reminded me, they have this, I don't know where it is, but it's like a human library, and people can sign up, and you can basically rent out a person for like an hour and talk to them. And it could be anything from like a war veteran,
that's cool.
a person of different political beliefs, a person of a certain standing in one thing or another, and you can just sit down and talk to them. And you can, I don't know how long, it's like an hour or something like that, and it's like it's called like a, let me Google it so I can give you the actual name, but it sounded so cool.
That is kind of cool. I think I remember hearing about one where they were like recorded. They were bringing people in to record stories of their experiences, so people could check out. They could get the DVD, watch the DVD, and it was this war vet talking about his experience. And they were getting people from all walks of life, but I think that's a little different.
Yeah,
but I don't really care about how they classify it as long as it's not treated from a medical perspective any differently.
Yeah,
I think that it's important to not deny what something is while you are embracing who you are. That's something that too many times we, as people, because we just don't like something, we expect it to change rather than changing how we look at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I don't think that's the right way to go about things, because it's kind of like denying the truth, denying facts just to make ourselves comfortable. And I would say that my initial violent reaction to that news was probably an overreaction. I'll own that. But
hey, so we talked it out.
I see people too frequently expecting facts to change just for their comfort levels, and that's not how the world works. And you can't force hard science and facts to change, because we build our world and our existence off of these hard sciences and hard facts. And if you start living in a fantasy land, the world is going to crumble. It doesn't function. It's not a functional way to live.
Yeah.
And you can't, I have something that's wrong with my brain, and I could easily just pass it off as common depression, and then I could go and try and treat it with pills all the time, and I could live my life using that as an excuse for certain behaviors and certain things. But I can't do that. I have to recognize it for what it is. I wake up every day and I address it for what it is. I realize that every day is an uphill battle, but I can only do that, and I can only function on a realistic level by recognizing it for what the problem actually is. And I think for a lot of people whose brains don't function exactly perfectly, they have to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And hiding from things or giving them less threatening descriptions doesn't change what they are. And you can't treat them differently because they have softer descriptions. I think that's the part that worries me about what you said, was if they put it into an area where it doesn't get the medical attention that it deserves, or society stops seeing it as something that needs medical attention, that becomes a problem. Like, that's why I illustrated the difference where, yes, they've identified a gene or whatnot that influences people into being gay, and that doesn't mean that's a gene that needs fixing. You could, in theory, when somebody's about to be born, go in, check out their sequence, and fix things now. And I know that they'll be able to do that more so as we go along. And you'll have cosmetically enhanced test tube babies or whatnot. But,
super babies! Bro,
yes,
give me my kid.
The custom designed babies.
My kid will be named John. He's going to come out the womb, Halo music playing, 7 foot tall, already 35 years old.
The Mjolnir armor will just get shit out like 3 seconds later.
Yeah, dude. Armor in hand.
I don't think we should ever view being homosexual as something that needs to be fixed, because I think that's a very dangerous line to walk.
Yeah.
Even more importantly, if they're like, oh, well, we can fix people being gay, and then they're like, oh, well, we can fix people who are grumpy, and then it's, oh, we can fix people that don't have the right, that have a risque sense of humor.
Oh, bro.
And
Red Strings Club. Red Strings Club. No
Yeah,
negative
exactly.
emotions.
Like
No negative emotions.
that's a very that's exactly what Red Strings Club was talking about.
Yeah.
That's an extremely dangerous line to walk. But when it comes to transgender, this is a quality of life that people are missing until they're able to go and get a change. And even then, they're not fully there. They're never going to be. They're always having to take expensive medications. They're having to deal with specific things that most other people aren't. You know, they're not able, if they're athletic, they're not able to compete in athletics without controversy because either they have a competitive edge or, there's just too much bullshit that fucking
Yeah.
has to go on in that world. I think if that was something we could fix, then that would be something I would get behind. Like if you noticed while the child was being birthed or they were being developed that, oh shit, the brain's growing female, the body's growing male, if they can go in and match one to the other, boom, problem solved. Or
Yeah.
if they could, that would be, I think, a good thing overall, because then you wouldn't have people having to suffer through that anymore. I know that there's a lot of them that might maybe disagree with that, but when I look at the bigger picture of seeing what Lisi had to go through from when she was John to when she became Lisi, and there's a lot of horrible shit I can't even discuss, man. Like really, really bad shit happened to
Okay.
her. So
All
I
right.
would never want that to happen to another person.
Okay. So I looked up this human library thing. It is literally called the human library. And so you basically rent out a person, like I said, and they have like a site talks about the people. So like it says meet our books. So they have like a bipolar person, someone unemployed, someone who was molested when they were young, ADHD, soldier with PTSD, suffering alcoholic, someone with brain damage, a deafblind, homeless, a refugee, someone that was sexually abused, polyamorous, convert, someone with extreme body mods, HIV, Muslim, young single mother, autism, and a naturist even. Naturist? I don't know how to say that. So you can just rent them, talk to them, see their side, what they go through on a day-to-day basis. It's just a way of people to be a little bit more understanding of the other people around them, because there's just so many different steps you can take in fucking life that can lead you to so many different roads. It's just nice understanding what someone else might be going through on a day-to-day basis. So let me close all these fucking tabs. I just googled like 1,000 things, but well, there was our main topic. A little bit different, I guess. So fuck the intro. Well, Shawn, do you have anything like major that happened over the last week you want to share, or are you good?
I rewatched. I rewatched the old school Spawn series. There's different copies of it on YouTube. There's
Okay.
the official copy, which is of a slightly higher quality and whatnot. But I rewatched almost all of it yesterday when I got off of work all night, and I watched part of it this morning. I haven't watched the last section. The animation's not the greatest. It's like maybe a notch below the Japanese style animation that they used in Castlevania, but it was a cooperative effort between a Japanese studio who was almost like a consultant. Like when Todd McFarlane, by the way, is a notorious asshole, but when he conceived the idea of doing Spawn as an adult cartoon,
Mm-hmm.
it was written and produced by American ideas, American standards. It was entirely Western, but they consulted Japanese animation studios when it came to the animation because they felt like American animation studios just weren't ready for that kind of thing. And it's not like there wasn't adult animation before. There was Fritz the Cat, and I could probably give you like maybe 5 examples counting Heavy Metal. But Fritz the Cat's the one that everybody thinks of, and that was just sex humor and shit. That was so people normally don't take. I think there was one called Wizards, American something or another. There's another one that was on Netflix for a while that I didn't watch because it looked stupid. But they Spawn really was like the first big one since Heavy Metal. Any of the other ones that come out are usually independent films, or they're like Watership Down. There's something that everybody remembers but nobody wants to watch. And Spawn was just kind of fresh for the time. Like they showed violence and blood and beheadings and things that you only saw in anime. But anime in the early 2000s still hadn't blown up. I mean, there was this renaissance in the 90s, thanks in part to Cartoon Network and Fox with Sailor Moon, which passed over to UPN. They had Kamen Blade, which was called Techno Man over here, which is the dumbest fucking name, but that show had badass music.
Techno Man.
Yeah, it was Kamen Blade became Techno Man. Like, I don't know. Why would they just say Techno Blade?
I don't know. They're stupid.
You know, or something like that. Like
everywhere he went, he played. Everywhere he went,
silly.
Everywhere he went, Darude Sandstorm played. That's why it was called Techno Man.
God damn it. I actually watched that music video for the first time like 3 months ago.
It's fucking awful.
It's fucking hilarious.
It's so
It
bad.
is hilariously bad. Yeah, it's like chasing each other around random locations. It looks like Grease or some shit.
Parkouring and shit around.
Yeah, like what the fuck are you? Holy shit! That is a culture that that's part of the early 2000s. I would not mind forgetting is like how Europeans shot their music videos. Like, and there was always a bald guy wearing shades, and like every one of always one bald guy.
I know that bald guy.
But,
people.
Yeah, God, I could live the rest of my life never having to hear another one of his garbage songs. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck. Oh yeah, so like there was that renaissance, but then it petered out briefly in the late '90s, and then it just exploded in like the mid 2000s. It's been building ever since. I don't know what I was talking about.
I'm just sitting here, and like fucking Caitlyn barges in. Like, how does no one remember that I fucking record on Sunday, man?
And she's a fucking host.
Yeah, she's. Hey, if you're listening, if she isn't, I know for sure. Fuck you, Caitlyn. How about that? I'll try and cut out what I can, but I doubt it's gonna happen because you're talking. I'll be fine. Hey,
I don't even remember what I was talking about, to be honest. I got sidetracked with that whole trying to remember.
Well, I'm glad you're doing good. Is that all you had to say?
Spawn? Yeah, nothing much has changed. I started a new anime, which is not new. It's a few years old, and then that led me to find out that it's part of this long-running series. So then I stopped watching it, backtracked to the first series, got a few episodes in, and I've been kind of working my way through that. I've been working my way forward to finish the content of Stormblood. I'm stuck at a dungeon right now.
Nice.
I bought a new game which I have not played yet, which I probably won't play for a long time.
What game is that?
But it was like $5. It was that Teslagrad.
Oh, okay.
It's like a puzzle Metroidvania, kind of side-scrolling, hand-drawn, whatnot. Got a lot of awards. I remember got a lot of respect, so I picked it up because it was on sale at GameStop for $5. Oh, big news, by the way. The one advantage that GameStop had, the one thing to keep going there, was to get a power-up card and then buy used games. And people have stopped buying used games because they're fucking stupid. So now GameStop, which is a dying company, is desperately trying to figure out a way to still be greedy assholes. One of the reasons why they're dying. And they have announced that they are going to remove the 30% discount you get on their used games. Now, their used games are normally about on par with the standard market. They're normally like if a game normally sells used for like $18, GameStop will normally sell it for between 17 to like 22. And with that 30% off, it almost always puts it below market value, so you're able to get used games for a good price. And they're getting rid of that. Instead, they're shifting to a policy where you get like a $5 gift certificate a month or some bullshit like that, which is extremely inferior to what you could save if you bought games from there on the regular.
Yeah.
So fuck you, GameStop. Hashtag I hate you, GameStop.
Nice.
Sorry, not sorry.
I think they bought a console from me, gave me like $30. I'm like, eat a dick. I don't even know if we went through with it. I think I kept it. But, okay. Real quick, week's been fucking hectic as shit, actually. I had found out that over like a week ago, prior to finding out, my grandmother had managed to collect and send like $32,000 to $35,000 of her money, maxing out credit cards in the process, to a location. She got scammed. You know how she's old. She's an old lady. She got scammed out of a lot of money. So we're kind of in the process of dealing with that. We had talked to the police department where the money was sent, but it was sent to an abandoned house. It was all wired by cash because she is not. She's an old lady. That's all I gotta say. It's all. And so there's literally no paper trail. So it'd be very difficult to find the person that did this. They probably do it often with how prepared they were with everything and the whole situation played out. And if it does get to the FBI, I doubt it's ever going anywhere. Knowing the fucking FBI, just knowing the government in general, it takes so long to do anything with the government that involves paperwork, especially something like in the grander scheme of things, small like this. So basically, she is up shit creek without a paddle, and she's going to come to live with us for a bit, and she's going to move between all the family members that live in the different states. They're all relatively close, so she'll be flown out to different areas to live for a few months with each of the sisters. And she doesn't have any money, so she can't live in her house. She can't afford any of the utility bills, can't do any of that. And Grammy's coming to live with everyone else. So we've been kind of accommodating that, or preparing the house. We have a guest room, so that's where she'll stay. We went to her house today. They apparently found a honeycomb in the wall, so there were thousands of dead bees because they sprayed for it like years ago, and they didn't know what it was. So they just killed thousands of bees, and it was just all on the floor and the wall, like thousands of bee carcasses just chilling. So they opened the wall up, and it smelled like fucking death. And so the whole house is being kind of fixed up now because it was bought by my uncle, and he was like giving her money every month. It's just a huge fucking mess and a half. And so now they're fixing it, basically. And what was I saying? I heard someone walking up to the door, and I was going to say, I swear to God, if it happens again, someone walks in here. So Grandma's living with us. That's about it. We went to I had to go to her house today. Can I help you? Knew it was going to happen. I'm mad. Get on the bed, asshole. Thank you. He looked at me and he's like, "Yes, master," and jumped on the bed. Oh my God. Now he's just looking at me like he did something wrong. I'm sorry, Bruce. You're not an asshole. I'm the asshole. He doesn't care. Okay. What was I even saying? I'm losing my mind. So we went to her house today. I'm so fucking tired. We went to her house today, and I basically spent like 2 hours cleaning out her attic on one of the hottest days I've experienced in a while in South Florida. And I completely drenched my clothes in sweat, and I was tired. And everything up there was either full of rat poop, spiders, dust. Everything was wrapped in garbage bags and hadn't been touched in like 10 years. So all the bags were falling apart. So every time I'd reach to go grab something, it was heavy. The whole bag just ripped apart, and I had no way of grabbing it. It was a really small attic, so I had to crawl around in the rat shit to like get to the stuff that was further and back. It was an experience, to say the least. But it's all done now, and I'm home, thank fuck, and don't have to deal with it anymore. But so now people are coming down to go get shit, and people are like picking stuff from the house because they're basically going to now turn it into a house for rent or a summer home. I don't fucking know what they're going to do with it. So, yeah, it's been a fucking mess. If I'll leave it like that. I don't spend too much time on it. If you want any more information about it for whatever reason, if it's interesting to you, I don't know. Let me know on Discord, and I can share more of the details of the story with you guys. But that's about it with that. It's been a mess, and there's been a lot of moving around and doing all this other shit. So I'm just happy it's kind of dying down. It's not fully died down, but yeah. So we're going to move forward. We got a mailbag, actually. We got a few mailbags, so we're going to talk. Oh, housekeeping. What am I saying? Twitch streams. We stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/ThoughtPatrol. Check us out. Check the VODs. Check the clips. Some cool stuff over there. Also, again, Discord. Now, if you're listening on Spotify, they recently updated it. So if there are links in the description, you can actually tap on them or click them if you're on mobile or PC. So they actually serve a purpose, because before they did not. You would not be able to do anything. You'd have to just like type out the link. So that I'm glad that quality of life change has been made there. So now you have more of a reason to join the Discord and hang out with the hosts and the community. We'd appreciate it. Feel free to leave a comment if you're listening on YouTube about whatever the hell's going on. Let us know what you think. What do you think about gaming being a disorder and stuff like that, or having a disorder that's categorized in gaming. Also, while you're there, feel free to subscribe. You can subscribe also on the respective podcast service you're listening on. We'd appreciate it. You get us every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Also, feel free to check out our other social things, such as Twitter at ThoughtPatrolPD. You can get announcements over there. Also, Facebook, the Thought Patrol Podcast. If you want to see the reviews that Shawn's been writing up about a lot of the shows that he's watched and stuff like that, very in-depth reviews of the content we've either watched together or he's watched on his own. Feel free to check that out over the Streaming Geek.
We do to date. We've got two different kinds of things we put up. We put up quick takes, which are usually about 4 different streaming titles. A lot of it's anime, because a lot of what I've been digging into recently is anime, because most of the other stuff on the streaming services is garbage. But I do go out of my way to try and throw in some live action stuff. I'm going to be working more in, because I know some of our listeners aren't necessarily into anime. I have, like I said, I have been throwing in some live action stuff, but I'm going to be watching a few more movies over the coming weeks to throw in there. Some interesting stuff that's been coming up. I still have to do something for Umbrella Chronicles, and probably throw a little mention in for The Haunting. But the quick takes is just bite-sized stuff. It usually amounts to about 8 paragraphs, 2 paragraphs per title. And if one of the titles run over, I just run short on another one, because a lot of them, you can summarize. It's all summaries. So you can summarize your thoughts on something, especially stuff that's either overtly bad or overtly good, fairly quickly. And then there's also these in-depth discussions about shows that will be 5, 6, 7 paragraphs, or roundabouts. But with those, I normally have a note at the top that tells you to skip to the last paragraph. Like if you're somebody that's just a TLDR, you don't do the reading thing. Like you jump to the last paragraph, and there's a fairly concise rundown of what you might want to hear in terms of and so on. But yeah, like we'd love it if you guys would go on to the Streaming Geek, put your thoughts in there, respond to some things, post comments, suggestions. You can also reach out to us on Discord if you'd like us to check something out and throw something up on the Streaming Geek. We're good for that as well. I have received a few suggestions from 2 of our 2 people on the Streaming Geek so far. It seems to be getting more attention recently, which is kind of nice. I'm going to try and post at least one thing, if not 2 bits of content a week. But it does, like these in-depth dissertations take some time. Like I've been working on one for Goblin Slayer for a week now. And considering I'm not a professional writer, the quality of which they come out at, as I cannot guarantee, so to speak, but I think they're coming out all right. Like I do rewrite them until I feel like they're at the very least presentable. But those long ones take time. I'm working on the Goblin Slayer one as we talk. So
nice. All right. Well, again, yeah. Also, if you want to help us out, have us show up a little bit higher in the algorithms for some of the streaming or the podcast services, feel free to leave us a review either on iTunes or whatever service does so that you tune in on. We'd really appreciate it. Whatever you feel is necessary. What you think about the show, leave just some feedback would be nice. Something that we can do to help better the show for the guys or you guys tuning in. We'd appreciate it. So let's move on to our mailbag. We got a few questions this week. I'm gonna move a little bit quicker. We're gonna go really fast, Sonic fast. We're gonna go human Sonic fast though. not cartoon Sonic, but human disgusting Sonic fast. So get ready for it. Just don't look at us. You might puke. Where was I? Oh, the mailbag. Okay, so Sam, our boy Sam, writes in. He changed his name again to Sam Kyria Chronicles because I know he's been playing Valkyria Chronicles recently. We were talking about it a few days ago. So he comes in. Okay, dorks. Rude. You know what? When I think of this, you know what it reminds me of? Did you ever watch Ed, and Eddie, Shawn? Or no?
Yep.
You know that one dude, the one that always called them dorks?
I immediately clued into that when he started doing that as well.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. If I can do his voice, I might try and practice his voice. So if Sam keeps this up, we can apply that voice to his questions. I just don't know off the top of my head what it sounds like. But this past week, some nerd game had a trailer. Death Stranding, was it? Well, I watched it and it made me angry. I couldn't understand what the frick was going on. Ugh. Sorry, I didn't mean to get heated. Here's my question. Hideo Kojima has had free range with Death Stranding, and it seems like he poured his very soul into it. From the trailer, how well will the game sell, and what is going to be its average score? Also, give me all the theory on what those bridge babies roles are in the game. Now I need to go punch something really hard. Where's that nursing home again? Hopefully,
bottle baby thing.
Hopefully, you never found it. The bridge babies, the ones that they keep on their chest, strapped in.
Yeah, they're like the hope for humanity or something. That's all I know.
I might.
There's a lot of theories. I've watched some breakdowns and stuff on YouTube. I'm gonna buy it. I'm all over
I
that
am
shit.
so fucking hyped.
Pre-ordering it on Monday.
I'm so fucking hyped. And the fact that it comes out in November, dude, blew me away. I did not know it was this close. I am so fucking excited for Death Stranding. I love Hideo Kojima and the shit that he's done. I really wanted to see PT come out, but this seems like there's a little bit of a horror element here, although most of it seems like a mystery kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, I know there's shooter elements. But like I just want. I love it. I love the motion capture. I love the idea. I think it will too. And one reason behind that is the fact that when the trailer did release, it was #1 on trending for gaming for like 2 days, something along those lines, like 18 hours or some shit. Not necessarily 2 days, but it's been a long time. So I think there's a lot of interest in it, which will lead to a lot of sales.
I'm predicting Last of Us numbers.
I don't know. We'll see. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. What about do you mean for score as well? Or what do you think about a score?
I think, score-wise, Kojima's games tend to score on the lower end of high because they...
Yeah, like 7 to 8, I'd say.
Yeah, usually because like he's never done something that isn't a little too cerebral for its own good. And I think that's going to bite the score down a bit.
I do too.
But I think in terms of sales numbers, I think it's gonna be on Last of Us levels.
I think there's a lot of...
Last of Us was another first. It was a single player, largely single player. I mean, they did have a pretty interesting multiplayer thing on there, but it was essentially a single player game. And people didn't know a lot of it when it came out. They thought it was just another zombie survival horror, and a lot of that fame spread through word of mouth, people playing it, just saying it's an amazing story, the characters are really good, like you really need to experience this. The Last of Us was like a cultural gaming moment, like it almost achieved that kind of level. And I think that Death Stranding, as long as Kojima doesn't Kojima himself too hard on this, will get the same kind of experience.
Yeah, I'm also interested to see, because there's like an element that he said that there's a social degree to this game. I'm interested to see where that takes place. One thought I had was that you are building connections between these cities that are walled off because of I think they're called BTs, these spirits that are taking people and taking them to Hades. I think that's what they called it, Hades. And it seems like when you're moving in at least the overworld, wherever you're going from place to place trying to bridge connections, it would be cool if maybe that when you make a connection or bridge a connection, have, like you say, you put your ladder down or some shit, maybe your game client connects to another person's game client and you can see other people's ladders that they've left.
That's the general theory, is that you're going to run across other players, and by doing things with them or teaming up with them, you get stronger or something.
I doubt I don't know. I have a
Like
feeling you
better
wouldn't.
gaming experience.
I have a feeling you wouldn't see another person just because everyone would be Norman Reedus. I think what you'd do is you would see other people's progress that they've made. Like maybe this dude put a ladder here, or this dude had put a hook to get down a mountain here, and you can find those in the world to help you progress yourself or something along those lines. But I don't know if you'd see it
A little bit
necessarily.
like Dark Souls.
Yeah, I don't know if
Or,
I don't know if you'd necessarily see another player character because everyone should be Norman Reedus, so it'd be weird seeing multiple Norman Reeduses running around.
that's actually a good point.
That's my dream right
But there's
there.
got to be something where you actually interact with other people. So even if they end up with like average Joe face or something.
Yeah, I have no idea. That reminds me a lot of Nier, how Nier ended, like the ending to Nier. You getting help from the community that played the game, and then finding out what they had to do in order to help you, I think is really cool as well. Which is, it's been so fucking long, I don't even care anymore. I'm just gonna give the idea. Basically, you play through the credits, and the idea is you're fighting back the ending of the game. So you're like destroying the credits, so the game doesn't actually end to get the good ending. And it's hard as fuck. It's like super hard. It's like a bullet hell, Shawn, but it's like Galaga, like if Galaga was a bullet hell. So you're a little ship, you're shooting back the credits, and there's basically hundreds of bullets on the screen, and you're trying to survive. If you die enough times, what will happen is you'll initially see text saying like give up, you can't do it, blah blah blah, but eventually the more you die, you'll start getting messages that will be like helpful, like, oh, you can do this, keep pushing, stuff like that. And if you die enough times, you'll get a bunch of it's like, do you want help? And you could ask for help. And then when you do say that, like a shitload of ships come to your side, like 7 or 8. So now you have like 10 more ships that help you fire to fight back. And you find out not only were the messages player created, so they were other people sending you like happy messages. On top of that, the ships, in order for you to get someone else's ship, and it even tells you their name, the name of their character, their player character when they make the save, in order for them to give you their ship, they have to delete their save. So they have to sacrifice their save in order for them to help you in your credit sequence, which I thought was pretty cool. So I don't know. It's just like the whole thing, it just wasn't expected in any way, shape, or form. And it was just a really nice ending to just an overall great experience, in my opinion, of a game. And I just thought it was super cool. And then they had like the music going, so I was crying and stuff like that. And it was it's the Weight of the World song is fucking fantastic. The one that plays during that sequence. I got goosebumps. So let's move forward. What were we talking about? I think it'd be probably between like a 7 and an 8. And then maybe it might be something that will hit like a cult classic level where maybe people are just average on it when it comes out, and then as people kind of get to ruminate on it, see what it tried to do or what it did do correctly, what it didn't do correctly, it'll be more loved by the community. I can see it doing something like that. But I even thought it was cool. Hideo Kojima himself, he edited the trailer, dude. The trailer that went up. He's the one that put it together himself. The fucking developer of the game. Like, this man just loves what he does for a living, and I just want to support him in every facet because of just how much love he puts into what he does. And it's just super cool seeing like someone like that and you just want to root for them. It's just they're like naturally charismatic in the way that they do and the things that they do and how much effort they put into what they present to people. You just want to see them succeed. So for the Bridge Babies, I think they probably work in tandem with the sensors too. I think that because like these BTs things are, if you look at them, their shadows are all connected by what looks like to be like an umbilical cord kind of looking thing that goes up into the air. And we know that the BTs are something that has not either moved on or it wasn't able to properly move on. Almost something along the lines of Pulse, Shawn, was one of the feelings I got, where maybe like the heaven is full kind of idea, where these people can't move anywhere. All these people that died in past wars, all these people that like they can't move forward, and that's why they're attacking. And maybe when they do pull someone into Hades, maybe they take their place or something along the lines. That'd be pretty cool, like an homage to Pulse. One thing that was funny is when I was talking about this with our group of friends, I was like, damn, I don't remember what the name of the movie was. So I just Googled Japanese cult or Japanese cult horror movie, and it was like the second one. I found it instantly, so I thought that was funny. So I think that might be something. Maybe the bridge babies, not only do they serve a purpose in helping to bridge these connections, they also serve a purpose in detecting these BTs with the sensor. And we know that Norman, to a degree, is like, he doesn't get affected by everything the same way others do. So I think that he might have been like the first bridge baby and he grew up. A possibility. I'm not entirely too sure. But there's just so much we don't fucking know. And I love the idea of sitting down in a room and just fully, I've said this before, but just like fully opening up like a story in a world that someone meticulously put together. And that's what Kojima does. So when that game comes out, I'm just going to love to sit down in a dark room and just turn that game on and just try and like fully like understand what he's trying to say, what he's trying to do with the game, and just kind of opening up this world and story and these characters, and that is like super surreal. I just can't wait to see what comes out of this. So I'm excited as fuck. I love Hideo Kojima, and there's a lot of people I've heard that just like don't care about the game, which is fine. It's just like every time I see stuff about it, it's like so intriguing because they don't tell you anything up front. And I don't know how you couldn't be at least a little bit interested to see what might come out of this story instead of just not giving a fuck whatsoever. But it's to each their own. So, anything else you want to add, Shawn, before we move forward?
No, there's the collector's edition is kind of cool because you get an actual case.
Oh yeah,
like
with
a
the little
suitcase, like what he carries around.
You
get the soundtrack, which is going to be awesome.
Oh fuck! I didn't even think about that.
You get like a life-size, a keychain. I'm sorry, of the bottle baby thing.
Yeah, the bridge babies.
Man, yeah, I'm gonna order that tomorrow.
Fucking Guillermo del Toro's in this game.
Yep.
And you're telling me you're not excited? Yeah, there is. I can't fucking wait. This seems like, also when you said like cultural touchstone, this seems like in this degree it could be something that comes down the line as seeing more big budget actors like with their personas inserted to games. I mean, we've seen it here and there with like Call of Duty and stuff like this, but seeing like a full cast of big budget actors doing mocap, we might see more and more of that if this is like insanely what the fuck is the word I'm trying to think of? It makes a lot of money, whatever. We might see that as almost like a cultural touchstone. Like, this is the first game to fully introduce like fully mocapped, fully like a full cast of like actors and stuff. What else does that? Like the what was it? Two Souls did that. They had Ellen Page, and she's and her face is technically used for the model of Ellie too. So she's in that one to a degree, just like a smaller version.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't her?
Not officially. No, that she didn't license. The initial character looked just like her, and then she got pissed off, so they went and changed the face. But it wasn't. They never admitted that it was intentional. She wasn't used as the model for.
Gotcha.
For The Last of Us.
I always saw it.
Although interestingly enough, Ellen Page is a lesbian, and the character in The Last of Us
is a lesbian. Big think. 200 IQ.
I think maybe they tried to borrow her image without telling her.
Yeah. Also, like, even like the just the idea of, I forget what it's called. Timefall. Like the idea of timefall, that the rain literally ages stuff into death and dust and stuff like that, sounds super fucking cool. Just everything about it. Like, there's like so many things at play that are just so different. They're so fucking different from what you see from like a typical narrative game that I just want to like open up this can of worms and start munching away on them and maybe not throw up, hopefully, because munching on worms is disgusting. But I'm fucking so excited, Sam. What was I gonna say? I can't explain to you how tired I am right now. Because I think I just got into like REM sleep when I did wake up. I don't know what. It's like God struck me. It's like, bitch, you have a podcast to record. And then so I got up and I almost fell out of bed kind of shit. So I'm running on steam. But Thanks for the question, Sam. Let us know what you guys think. Are you excited for Death Stranding? Does it just vaguely interest you? Do you not give a fuck? Let us know. And if you don't give a fuck, please add your address as well so I can come and find you and break your kneecaps in your sleep. Thank you very much. Also, moving forward, Carlos Perez sent us in a question. He says, stripes or turtleneck sweaters?
I don't wear turtlenecks because turtlenecks are for fucking pussies.
Whoa. That was a bold statement right there, dude. That was a bold fucking statement.
Only pussies wear turtlenecks.
So you calling that fish and SpongeBob a pussy?
Yes. Do you like selecting mauve curtains and taupe napkins and soap operas?
And you crochet your own fucking table warmers and shit, or the pot warmers?
Yeah, you might be into turtlenecks. Real men don't wear turtlenecks.
Yeah.
I don't think real women do either. I think that's a lie pervaded by the autocracy.
Okay.
And
getting deep.
Yeah, and it's all a deep fucking. No, I don't wear turtlenecks. What are you fucking crazy?
I don't like sweaters at all.
Don't wear turtlenecks. That's fine, but yeah, I don't. As a matter of fact, I've never owned a sweater. I've had a sweatshirt once.
Yeah, I've had sweaters, but not like a traditional sweater. It's like the one you'd like a sports sweater kind of thing. Because I think the only thing that makes a sweater is the fact. Is that a sweatshirt? I thought a sweater was just something that didn't have like a zipper or button down. You just kind of put it over your head. Oh, well.
It doesn't make something a sweater.
So
I'm not a fashion expert, so I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that does not make something a sweater. I believe sweaters have to be like woven somehow, like classically woven with like large steel needles and old ladies. I don't fucking know. I just don't wear sweaters. Yeah. A sweatshirt is not a sweater because it's a fucking sweatshirt. It's just a thicker shirt that goes over your normal shirt.
Gotcha. Well, then neither, Carlos. I live in South Florida, bro. It's fucking hot all the time.
I'm just kidding, by the way. If you happen to like turtlenecks, Carlos, that's fine. You can smoke your clove cigarettes and snap your fingers to poetry all you want. I'm not going to judge.
You'd have to do him dirty like that, man. He wrote us in a question. He confided in us, and you're fucking shitting down his.
Hey, let's be fair, dude. I was the guy that was in the fucking coffee shop, snapping my fingers to poetry, dressed all in black. I just didn't fucking wear sweaters.
Yeah, you just shit down his turtleneck, dude. So now
I don't understand the point of turtlenecks. I don't understand it.
To keep you warm.
That's what scarves are for.
Well, if you don't want to carry a scarf and look like more of a douchebag.
Scarves work better. As far as I've never used one of those either.
Me neither.
I hear they work better than turtlenecks.
I live in South Florida.
I don't understand the point of turtleneck. I don't see how a turtleneck keeps your neck warm. I don't see it. It's 2 inches of cloth. I don't get it. No turtlenecks, and I don't wear sweaters, but I love you anyway, baby.
It keeps the cold air from your skin. Yeah.
Only Nazis wear turtlenecks.
Since we have an ultimatum here, I'm probably gonna have to go with stripes because I'm not wearing a turtleneck. So
I'll go with vertical stripes. You never see vertical stripes on clothing. I'll wear some vertical stripes. I look like a jailbird.
I caught him that time. It was a third time, by the way, that someone's walked in while we were recording. I caught it that time, though. I muted just in time. That's because when my dad walks in the hallway, he like Godzilla footsteps down it. So I could tell what he's coming from like a mile away. So I got it, though. Don't worry, boys. Kyle is working hard to save future Kyle editing the podcast. A lot of work. Yeah, stripes, Carlos. I'm sorry, bud. I hope you don't. I hope you guys out there, you're not offended by our lack of praise for turtleneck sweaters. I'm
offended by our lack of praise. Fuck us.
We're gonna get like
harpies.
We're gonna get a turtleneck sweater enthusiast sending us like an email that's like 6 paragraphs long, detailing.
Yeah, they're gonna send us a box with like toxic white powder.
Open my mailbox to a bomb. Yeah.
We're gonna get what's that shit called? The white powder? Oh fuck, I don't even remember.
White powder.
It's like it's like poisonous.
Oh, I have no idea. Let's Google it. Would be like the 5th thing I've Googled. Poisonous white powder.
Yeah, it kills you.
White powder mail. I found it. White powder. What is it though? Oh, Anthrax. There you go.
That's it. Yeah.
I
I think it's
the way I
like one
said
of the
that.
greatest thrash metal bands, and I fucking forget their name. Sorry, Ian.
All right. Thanks for the question, Carlos. Let us know, guys, what you think. Stripes turtlenecks. I expect the essay in by Monday, and please cite your sources. APA format. Is that what it is? APA. It's APA and MLA, right? I don't fucking know. It's been a while. Moving forward, Lark asked us a question. He says, recently, Titan Quest announced a new expansion. We need to settle something here. What's the difference between an expansion and a DLC? I need to know, because I've heard them interchanged, and I feel like there's a difference. What's the difference between... I'm not answering it myself. I want to know, so I'm going to Google it. What's the difference between a DLC
I don't even know what the fuck
and...
you're talking about because you didn't finish the question.
Wait. I'm going to Google this and we'll find out. But, so Titan Quest is a single player game along the lines of, I think it's along the lines of like Diablo, the way it plays. We're going to Google it and find out. Oh yeah. It's like a isometric top down RPG kind of thing. Okay. Titan Quest announced a new expansion. I was pretty surprised to see that since the game originally released in 2006, it has had a steady player base and it is a solid game. Do you know of any other single-player games still getting official expansions 10 years after release?
Is that the boss rush thing where you're just fighting like you're doing like a 2D
No.
Dark Souls?
That was Titan. That's something else. Titan something.
Titan Souls.
Titan Soul or Titan? Yeah, it's something like that. This is like an isometric top-down RPG. Which ones and what other older games would you like to see an expansion for? So maybe, I don't know. I consider something along the lines of an expansion when not only is content being added, but major elements of gameplay are being reworked or added to the game. Like MMOs usually get expansions because it's, and also I feel like expansions normally are released in a stuttered rate. It's not like everything, like a DLC is, it drops one day, you have all the content right off the gate, and it's just stuff they're adding to the game. And I feel like an expansion is major reworks to gameplay systems, more content being added, but it's not all at once. It happens in like patches, like every MMO does when they release an expansion. That's I guess that's the difference. I didn't actually look at the Google. I did. This thing only says size. So DLC expansion packs traditionally contain larger amounts of content. And DLCs are usually, I don't know. I think I did a good job of explaining it. I don't even know why I Googled it. Okay, so Titan Quest, basically Diablo. Hopefully I'm not offending anybody. I don't know why I even give a shit. Expansion, released in 2006. I think they also recently added it to the Switch, which is pretty cool. I think games like that work very well on the Switch. So, do you know of any single-player game still getting official expansion 10 years after release? I don't think so. Like, I can't think of one that has gotten, unless, no, even that. Like, I wonder if you can count, like, stuff being added to the Skyrim mod store. But I wouldn't consider that an expansion in any way, shape, or form.
No, an actual expansion would have to be content, story content.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it DLC.
If you're gonna call it an expansion, it needs to be released by the original developer, or at least the original publisher.
I can't fucking think of a single thing. I mean, there's plenty of multiplayer games that have been around for a very long fucking time that are still actively getting content. So look at RuneScape, EverQuest, stuff like that. They're still constantly getting content. Hell, fucking Final Fantasy 14 is technically 10 years old. So, and it's getting a content. So do with that what you will. WoW, stuff like that. But I can't think of a single player game that is like actively being supported that's over 10 years old, at least by the devs. Usually you'll release something, it does what it does, and you move on to a sequel. Fuck. I can't think of anything. So, can you, Shawn? I'm drawing a blank.
No.
What is something you'd like to see get in like a DLC drop that's over 10 years old? Get more content for? You have anything?
That's over 10 years old?
Yeah, something along that, like something that's an older single player game that you'd like to see get DLC released for it. I'd like to see more. I know we're
Quake?
getting Quake. I'd like to see more System Shock stuff. I mean, I know they're working on another
System Shock
game, I
would be
think,
good.
but I'd like to see like I don't know, like maybe like something they could add to System Shock 2, like a few levels or something. I don't know. I know there's also a team of fans working on like a full HD revamp of System Shock 2, and I think that'd be pretty cool. Um, Maybe the original BioShock, but I mean, there's so much BioShock already. But I think if they did it in the
It'd be
vein,
nice to return to one of the Dragon Quest games. It'd be nice.
that'd be cool. Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I'd
dude.
like to see them not reboot. I'd like to see them remake the all of the expansion stories for Final Fantasy VII into one collection of expansions. Like maybe redo the games if they weren't so hot, or if the game was worked well and it was polished. Maybe update it graphically.
Yeah,
Put it all in like one. There's a cell phone game. There was. I know there was
technically,
some book content they could add on to the disc as like bonus stuff, like short stories. One that was written for, I believe, Aerith. One that was, I think there was one written for Tifa. That
he's
would be
not
nice.
asking for a reboot. It's just something. So the game would be in its current
Yeah, but this
state.
would be an expand. This would be well. You can't expand something that's released on disc though, unless you release a sequel, or that would be like Final Fantasy X got an expansion with 10 too. It was a full blown sequel, but that's the closest thing to an expansion you can do on that kind of thing. So if you're talking 10 years ago, that would be PlayStation 2.
I don't know. They did it with this game. I don't know what this game
Yeah,
is though.
but if you're looking at computers, I don't have a lot of experience with computer games, so I would go with the only things I can draw on is like System Shock 2. Those are both excellent examples. Um, I liked Quake. I'd like to see more of Turok. I think they released Turok on computer as well. I think that'd be a great game to fucking add some stuff to.
Yeah.
Or at least hypothetically, like if you could expand, then maybe negate the Final Fantasy VII thing. But like if you could expand existing games, I'd like to see an expansion to Banjo Kazooie.
Well, that'd be cool. Uh,
Um,
all this talk has reminded me that
this is hypothetical.
the original Doom had recently received a map pack by the original guy that did the levels. I forget his name.
Which one? There was two.
Oh, I don't know. I just remember it was called. Fuck. What was the name of the map pack? I think it started with an S. Oh fuck. New Doom map pack by original dev. Let's find out. John Romero. That was his fucking name.
Romero. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other guy works for a different company now.
It's called Sigil. Sigil. Okay. Yeah, that recently came out, and apparently it's lackluster. But that's technically along
It's
the
John
lines.
Romero, dude. John Romero's a doofus.
And so that's technically along the lines of something like this too. Would be pretty interesting. I can't. Everything that comes to mind is multiplayer games. Like it's crazy that RuneScape is still really huge.
Mario 64. I'd like to see expansion of Mario
Oh
64.
fuck yeah, dude! Adding more levels. If you're not gonna
Mario
give me,
Sunshine.
if you're not gonna give me Sunshine 2, so I can be in total ecstasy for
But
the
you don't
next.
need a Sunshine 2. You can get an expansion of
That's what
Sunshine, a whole
I was
new
leading.
whole new story.
I was leading to that. I was leading to that. Just give me give me more levels for Sunshine. Give me maybe a whole new hub, a few more levels. I would buy that shit in a millisecond. I would.
I'd like a Wind Waker.
To be
I'd like
honest,
to see an expansion of Wind Waker.
I liked Wind Waker. I just didn't like the
I
boat.
love that game.
I didn't like the boat stuff.
When they did the remaster, they fixed some of that. in
like,
terms of like how long it took you to travel.
but like if they're gonna add new content to the game, I just don't feel like driving the boat around to get there. Unless they start you there, then I'd be all for it because I love the fucking art style. I thought it was phenomenal. It was one of the best parts of the game.
I liked one of my favorite things about Wind Waker though is being able to explore and just go find all those tiny little islands and find the little secrets on them.
Yeah, you'd love Breath of the
Sometimes there
Wild.
was nothing there. The only thing about Breath of the Wild is Wind Waker had a tight narrative. Well, I mean, for Zelda, it had a tight narrative.
Yeah, it did. It
Like
did.
Zelda's narrative has always been a little bit on the loosey goosey side. It's like, hey, undeveloped characters are they like you and want you to do stuff, and you do. Like it's never been the most intensive story, but it was an emotive story.
It was yeah. It was point A to point B, and you
Yeah, it
were
was always simple
yeah.
but enjoyable. There just was no character
Yeah,
development.
Breath of the Wild literally has none of that, dude, and it's annoying as shit. Like literally all this way you find out information until like the end is through flashbacks. Literally the entire time. That makes sense in the idea of the game, but I feel like they had to pull all that back to make sure the whole freedom go anywhere the fuck you want element worked properly. So the narrative had to suffer to get everything else to work to the degree it did. Now, for some people, it's still their favorite Zelda game, but I thought
That's so dumb because Wind Waker found a balance perfectly. You could go anywhere you wanted. I mean, there were certain islands you couldn't get on because you were missing an item or something like that, but you could travel anywhere.
yeah. This thing though was literally if you wanted to go fight Ganon off the bat, you could. Now you had to get through a castle full of fucking really hard enemies, but you can go beat the shit out of them with a stick if you wanted to and no clothes on. That like it really took that element and fully pushed it. Like there was no restriction.
It's really stupid.
It's just the
Where
way
does
they
your
went with
feeling
it.
of accomplishment come? I just don't like. That's one of the only reasons why I didn't immediately dive into that game. I got it on release for Wii U, and I didn't immediately play it because the idea of an open world Zelda negates the concept of Zelda. Like it's a funneled approach where you can break off and do stuff that you want. You've always been able to do that, but it's that within limits. Like there are certain areas you can't approach yet. It's gated by story. It's gated by achieving content. That's the flow of the fucking game. Like, and they've always changed it a little bit with each formula, and that's cool. Like with Skyward Sword, I enjoyed that one as well. But you by making it open world and completely removing the funneled approach, like it's not Zelda anymore.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just make another fucking game, call it something else, and give us what we ask for? Why do you have to listen to these little whiny bitches who don't want?
Whoa.
Like, oh god, it's so fucking annoying.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Anything
There's
else?
a way they could have done both.
Anything else? Give me a expansion to Madden 06 or Madden 09, I guess, because it's 10 years. That's all I want. Yeah, I can't really think of anything else. A lot of stuff that just come to mind is multiplayer games. But like I'd rather if it was a single player thing instead of going back to older content, unless it was designed around the gameplay loop was more of the focus instead of just the narrative, I'd rather just see another game come out from that franchise. So like if we go
I'd
back
like to see an expansion of the Seventh Guest.
I don't even know what that
This
is.
is a fun game. That's a point and click puzzle adventure. You're stuck in a haunted house.
Ooh, I love haunted
Basically.
houses.
And you, in order to survive, you have to beat the puzzles. There's this guy who he traded his soul with a demon called Faust. Hint, hint. In order to become famous making puzzles, but the puzzles were designed to kill children.
Oh,
They would
nice.
siphon their soul out and send them to. Basically, it would eat their soul and send it to the devil or some shit like that. So this dude basically makes a deal with a demon. It's like a retelling of Faust, and in the process, he kills a bunch of children. But he's hailed as this genius. He goes into hiding, and then this kid breaks into a house, and he sees all these flashbacks of a party that was held at his house,
Uh-huh.
like 10 years after he disappears. Like after there's a bunch of notoriety because the kids were getting sick, and so he vanishes, and then these famous people get invitations to come to a dinner party that he doesn't show up to. And so they wander around the house together. They eat dinner. They talk with each other, and they play his puzzles. And one by one, they die.
Lit.
And you're learning this as you go through and play the same puzzles. And at the end of the game, you find out that because it was 6 people, that
You're the
you were the
seventh.
seventh guest. Yeah, you actually were there on that night, and the puzzles killed you. And your spirit has gained consciousness for whatever reason, um, to do battle with him. So you play all the way up to the final puzzle, and then the final puzzle is against him. And then when you defeat him, the light heaven kills him. I don't fucking remember. But I think it'd be cool to have an expansion to that, like have like a whole new house with puzzles and showdown. Maybe he comes back. But it's all that pre-rendered stuff. You click forward on the forward arrow, and then the camera moves into the next room, or you click right, you turn right. It's that kind of thing.
Gotcha. Give me a DLC for what's that game called? What's Scissor Man? Clock Tower. But the
Which one?
The first one. But the annoying bitch that you play as is removed, and you play as the Scissor Man, and you're just killing horny teens. And that'll be good to go.
That's not Clock Tower at all. It's like,
well, I don't give a
give me an
fuck if it's
experience
not
with
Clock Tower.
that is nothing like Clock Tower.
Exactly. That's what I want.
Clock Tower is a good series. I liked it a lot. Got a little weird there when they switched publishers
I'm gonna put a penis in this.
or studios, I should say.
I don't even know what I'm
I don't know
talking about.
where. I'm gonna put a penis in this.
Yeah, dude, that'd be me if I was a game dev. That's all my hidden stuff. Like Halo puts grunts that talk shit. I'd be the dude that sticks fucking penises on walls and shit. Hid it in the game somewhere.
My favorite one is when the grunt does the Monty Python. He throws his arms up, turns around, and yells, "Let's get the hell!" I'm sorry, not Monty Python. Army of Darkness. Let's get the hell out of here. Like when they do that,
Which Halo is
that's
that?
ripped directly.
Oh,
I think that's all of them.
oh, you mean they're like
Like
normal behavior? Okay, I got you.
yeah, no, the grunts. Like when the battle goes south, like you'll charge
Yeah, they
in,
fuck
and
off.
if you kill a big enough group fast enough, the remainers will run away. And when they run away, you'll hear one of them yell, "Let's get the hell out of here."
Yeah.
And that's from Army of Darkness. Like one of the skeletons yells that.
All right, we have a few news articles. I just deleted one. Fuck my ass. I did not mean to do that. God damn it. I was moving through them and I hit X. Oh, I'm mad as fuck right now. Wait a second. History. There we go. Recently closed. Thank you, Google. Okay.
If you hit Control Z, if you deleted something on a spreadsheet or a
Will that
Word
work for
or a
removing
document of some kind,
that doesn't work for closing a tab, does it?
no. But what idiot would only keep it on the tab?
I deleted the whole tab though. I closed it entirely.
Oh yeah, you're fucked then.
Yeah, I got it. I went to recently close. So a few things happened this week. A new Call of Duty's coming out. Apparently, it looks
Ooh, surprise!
yay! It looks like a reboot. It looks like a reboot of Call of Duty. It looks like they're going back to Modern Warfare, which they've already kind of done with Black Ops 4. I mean, it's not Modern Warfare, but like boots on the ground. I mean,
You know what they should start doing is they should start doing Call of Duty Rambo and then Call of Duty Missing in Action. Start doing Call of Duty games that are based around like military flavored movies. That way, at the very least, there's some sort of fucking substance to them instead of rehashing the same garbage over and over again. Or like Call of Duty Rome, like
oh, dude, yeah, Call of Duty
Call of
Greece.
Duty ancient feudal Japan.
Yeah, dude.
Like do some sort of major historical battle zone, like the fucking Modern Warfare and World War II thing and World War I thing. We're fucking over it. Stop.
It's Modern Warfare.
STAHP.
Whoa. Yeah, you didn't have to do that.
Exclamation mark. Underline. Bold.
Okay, so Call of Duty Modern Warfare, it's coming out. It should be coming out this year, as far as I understand. It's a reimagining of the first game of the Modern Warfare line. Apparently, it's bringing a few changes. Infinity Ward will be working on it, and they revealed details about the single-player campaign, so we're getting story again, which is nice, at least. What else? Blah, blah, blah. Russia invades the U.S., nuclear weapons explode, blah, blah, blah. Typical Call of Duty things. Captain Price will be the principal character in the story, which is nice. I thought he was a cool character. And it's Call of Duty, more Call of Duty. So some of you excited, some the rest, like the other 96% of you, probably groaned in as a group. So we'll see what happens as shit goes on. It looks like fucking typical Call of Duty. It looks really pretty though. That's one fucking thing. In the gameplay footage they showed, which was quote unquote in engine now, depending on what setup they are running, if it was actually like a base PlayStation model or a fucking fancy PC, we'll have to see what kind of downgrades come out of it when the game actually releases. It looked pretty fucking pretty. Some really nice lighting, some really good looking levels. It looked nice. That's the biggest thing. But it's Call of Duty. What's happened with every other Call of Duty would happen with this one. If I bought it, I'll play it for a week and literally not give a fuck a week later. So I am not into it whatsoever. So real quick also, after a month of radio silence from the Anthem development team, we have gotten an update to set the foundation for the Cataclysm event. The only thing that could have brought me back to this game, and as far as I understand, it's underwhelming. So this game, at this point, is most likely dead in the water, if it was not already. Oh my god. Give me 1 second, Shawn. Keep them busy. Oh.
Busy. I thought of another thing that I'd like to see an expansion to, but then I forgot it because Kyle was rambling on, and I don't know what it was. So that's super exciting. I hope that's as
What's
good
exciting?
for you guys as it is for me.
What's exciting?
Me forgetting stuff. I forgot stuff.
Oh, nice. That's exciting.
It's very exciting.
So, yeah. Okay, we're back. After a period of silence, BioWare has released a new update for Anthem. It's multiplayer-focused loot shooter game. It's patch 1.2.0. They're adding quality of life changes. We're going to go through the patch notes real quick. It's really not fucking important. The only thing I actually really care about is the oh my god.
I can do that too.
What did you do? What? Do it for me.
I snapped my fingers by the microphone.
Nice, bro. This podcast has devolved into shit.
Yeah, it's not our strongest moment.
I'm losing my mind.
I want you guys to remember us as we were.
Please go back and listen to the earlier stuff. It's better.
We kind of stumbled into this one exhausted and unprepared. So
with the good old days,
is the price.
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm looking through these patch notes. Where the fuck is the information about the Cataclysm? I don't even. I don't even.
I think
care.
everybody's pretty much given up on it. Like I haven't started it up in forever.
Me neither.
I've got so many other things. Like I don't super regret buying it because I was able to be part of the conversation, which I only did it for the podcast, but I kind of regret buying it.
Yeah, I don't think anyone doesn't, bro, at this point.
I'm not going to give EA any more money. Like that's done. EA, Activision. I haven't completely sworn out Ubisoft yet, but they're close. Like so many other good games have come from developers I trust and publishers I can trust. I'm done with them.
I think I got clickbaited, bro.
Did you?
Okay, here we go. As far as what it goes, the time, so Cataclysm is basically, dude, it's what were those timed missions in Destiny called? Holy shit.
I don't remember anymore.
Night something. Night. Oh my god.
Nightfall?
Nightfall? Was that it? That was it? The Nightfalls?
Nightfalls?
Yeah.
I think so.
It's a Nightfall, bro. It's a Nightfall. You do a mission with random modifiers. It's the same content that already exists in the game, and the sky is blue. It's a Nightfall. No raids.
Wow.
So the game is dead in the water officially, I think. And this is
what do they have, like 3 programmers? And they're like, shit, what do we do? We can't make new assets. We don't have any money. We don't have any time.
guys.
I've got it. Do you know how to use a blue filter in Photoshop?
Take the hue.
Yes.
Turn blue all the way to the right. Turn red and green down.
Yeah.
We're good to
All
go.
right. Now instead of the enemies requiring 6,000 bullets to drop, they're going to require 12.
Yeah.
And they have to have a fire modifier.
I'm liking it.
Or lubricated with anal jelly.
Okay.
That's the only two options.
Okay.
And now we'll actually subtract the only raids we have.
Okay.
From the game.
Okay.
To draw focus on this and then eliminate weapons so that you don't even have bullets. You have to hit them with your penis.
Okay.
What do you think?
I'm sold.
You just smack into them until they fall over. Just run into them repeatedly.
Where do I sign up?
I know. It's a great idea.
How do I throw money at this project?
As a bonus, you will be able to wear the earlobes of your enemies on your suit. You're not going to get any new parts because we don't have time we don't have artists anymore.
Yeah,
so,
they all left.
Instead,
we do have
of a dismembered ear.
We do have just a JPEG. We do have. Yeah. No, it's not even.
And it's only human ears because they don't have artists. They can't make a bug ears. So
and it's not even
a bug wearing a human ear.
It's not even properly cut, so it's not fully transparent. You see little pixels of white, like they didn't do a good enough job making it because like it had like a white background. Oh my fucking god. They do have artists, Shawn. They're just all crying in the back room. Come on now, give them more. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I thought that joke was in poor taste.
I thought they were all working on a Star Wars game. My bad.
Oh yeah, you're right. Man, Anthem. You get it for $25 on Amazon, boys. It's not worth it. It's not even worth like. I can see $10 if you get a group.
What do you think if they turned it into a free to play?
It's not going to save it. No one's going to still because time is still an important resource and people just don't give a fuck about it anymore. There's like so much there's too much competition to be doing shit like this. This reminds like what I've said about Epic 1,000 times. If you have so much competition in the market, you don't take your first step half-assed. I know there's a lot more going on than that with this title, but if the investors really cared about this project and wanting to get their money back, I'm sure there'd be more of a tightly held thing going on with the team and making sure everything was properly working. I just don't know. This thing fell apart and it was a fucking catastrophe. One can say a cataclysm from the get-go. And it just baffles me how they still... I think, and we said it before, but it was 100% most likely. It's like, boys, we've lost. Just release the game. People will buy it. And then look what happened. So, it's dead. And this is kind of like the corpse is kind of twitching a bit, sputtering something. Little foam coming out of its mouth. But it's
I don't understand
dead.
how you catastrophically fail like this. Like this seems to me it was harder to fail than it would have been to succeed.
Yeah.
Like they worked. I don't understand. Like it's I just don't get it.
Poor leadership.
It's like, let's bake a cake. All right, that's a great idea. And then they go to the meat market to buy their supplies. Like I don't understand. Oh God, it comes out smelling like dead children. It's over. It's all over. It's a cold, dark place. I need warmth.
I got you, bud. I'll give you an internet hug. Warmth might not be there, but at least you'll feel a bit better.
It's just an avoidable fuck up. Especially seeing how like what was there was fun. Like the little bit that was good there was legitimate fun. Like it's really sad to me that I have fun playing that game. I have fun just flying around kicking ass. You need more than that. I have all these epic level fucking weapons, and I'm still struggling to kill basic enemies.
Shooting peas out, and they all look exactly the same. Yeah, no, we've gotten over it. Okay, next, one final thing. It was more of just like my addiction to Final Fantasy made me want to put this in. So we're gonna be talking about Final Fantasy. This is really, really fucking small. It's something that has me really excited.
Never briefly mentioned Final Fantasy 14.
I'm sorry. I've been playing. Oh, now I was a bit brief. I got you. Fuck you.
I'm timing you. You said it's going to be short. You said it's short. I'm timing your ass.
All right,
Go.
ready, go. Nier Automata's Yoko Taro heavily involved in Final Fantasy XIV Shadowbringers content. Naoki Yoshida says, "Glory to Orzian kind." This is by Michael Higham of GameSpot. The upcoming expansion to Square Enix MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV called Shadowbringers will introduce a wide variety of changes to the gameplay as well as a slew of new content. One of the most intriguing additions will be an entire raid dedicated to Nier Automata. It's called Yorha Dark Apocalypse. It'll be a lot more than a typical crossover event, although not much has been detailed yet. However, I had a chance to speak with Final Fantasy XIV director and lead producer Naoki Yoshida during a preview event for Shadowbringers and asked about where the idea came from, if there are any details he could tease, and how much Nier creators Yoko Taro is involved in raid's creation. So basically, they're adding an alliance raid, which is a 3 teams of 8 people, so a 24-man raid to Final Fantasy XIV. And so basically, if y'all have listened to the podcast, you know 2 things. My favorite multiplayer game, at this point, is probably Final Fantasy XIV. My favorite single-player game is Nier Automata. So literally, it's almost as if they came to me and asked me, "Hey, Kyle, we're doing a raid. It could be any Square Enix property you want because it makes it easier on us. What do you want?" And then after I stopped losing buckets of cum, I proceeded to say Nier Automata, and then Yoko Taro walked into the room and he touched me. And then more buckets of cum. I didn't know where I was going with that. I was like, how can I already started with the buckets of cum. I can't go any further, I guess.
But you don't just go like
I could start violently
like,
shitting.
Work your way.
I could start violently shitting, maybe. I don't know. But so basically, and one cool thing is Yoko Taro himself has actually been playing through Final Fantasy XIV to get an idea of how the raid design works in the game. Last time I heard, he was like level 60 or some shit like that on a DPS. I don't know what DPS he picked. But so he's playing through the fucking game. So you get an idea of how to design a raid, what to do. So not only will we be getting a raid, it'll be a man who made a fantastic game. It'll have a pseudo deep understanding of Final Fantasy XIV. Will be able to write a story, which he does fantastic work with in the game. And on top of that, we get the outfits and music from Nier. There's gonna be Nier music in this raid, and that alone is so exciting because I think Final Fantasy and Nier, well, Square Enix as a whole does some of the best soundtrack work out there. And Nier Automata was one of their heavy hitters for some of the best, and Final Fantasy XIV has had some of the best MMO music I've ever heard as well. It was funny. Tyler, I was talking to him. They're all playing ESO for some fucking reason. I don't know. And he showed me one of the raids they have in their game, and I was listening to it, and I was like, the first thing I was like, I wonder how good the music is. Because I remember the music being pretty decent in ESO, at least in the areas you moved around in. I have nothing wrong with ESO. I just think Final Fantasy XIV is a better game for an MMO. I think it does more to, at least in presentation. I guess it comes down to what you're looking for in an MMO. So they can serve different purposes. ESO has more of a dynamicism with the itemization and builds and stuff like that, or Final Fantasy XIV is not as dynamic in itemization, but there's more of a focus on learning mechanics and doing intense deep raids with a heavy focus on story and a heavy focus on just like presentation with music, set pieces, design. Everything there's a heavy focus on presentation, which helps reinforce the narrative, because not only are you enjoying a cool story with cool characters, on top of that you're doing cool things with those characters. So that's nice. But I'm just so excited to see what comes out of this whole crossover. And then not only that, there will be a raid that will forever be in Final Fantasy XIV that I have access to at any time that will be Nier themed, and just that is like literally is like as if I went to the Make-A-Wish Foundation telling him, like, guys, this is the only thing I need before I succumb to whatever illness is fucking me over. You need to put this in this game now. Like, I need it. And then they did it, and then come in buckets. So that's that, dude. Oh. Yoshida, the dude, snapping it from the mic again because I lost my train of thought. He basically said that he thinks that the raid will lean more towards Nier's gameplay rather than Final Fantasy 14's battle mechanics. Yoko-san's involvement is very significant, as if he was creating a whole game. Over the course of the next 2 years, we will continue to work with him and the team to bring content. So just like it's just so fucking cool to see it, basically. And I love the crossover events they've done so far. The Final Fantasy 15 one was cool in its the way that it worked and how they did it. The Monster Hunter World one was fucking awesome as well, being able to get Monster Hunter gear, having a fucking Palico in Final Fantasy 14, and even the Behemoth moving over to Monster Hunter World, all super cool shit. These crossovers have all been really fucking awesome, and I have no doubt that this one will be just as cool once Shadowbringers does come out. So, and I have immense faith in both Yoshi P and Yoko Taro to just produce some fantastic content, and I can't wait to see what comes out of it. So, that's about it. That's about all we had to talk about. We talked about all the gaming stuff earlier, so that's out of the way. I've had to poop for the last 45 minutes, and I'm losing the battle, Shawn. So what we're going to do...
Just go do that, and we'll finish.
No, we're good. I can hold it. So, is there anything to add? I mean, that was the news.
Main topic?
We don't have one. fucking. To be fair, we spent 40 minutes talking about the whole video game thing and the transgender
we really
thing.
Should not. The transgender thing just did not belong in this podcast. We should not have spent that much time on it.
What do you mean didn't belong on this podcast? When does anything belong on this podcast?
It's not geek centric.
We had an episode about poop stuff. What do you mean? We did. We had 2 episodes about poop stuff. We had 2 main topics about poop stuff.
But it's kind of geeky to laugh at poop stuff.
I don't know.
All right, we can end it with 20 questions. And that'll be our main topic. And the 20 questions will be
what was this episode?
Favorite anime character weapon, or an anime character's weapon.
All right. It
has to be an anime we've both seen.
Okay.
And it has to be a specific weapon.
Okay. All right. So it works in the realms of normal 20 questions, right?
Yes.
Okay. You want to go first? You want me to? I'm down. I like games. I love games.
I've got my favorite.
And I'm tired as fuck.
I've got my chosen weapon. You have yours?
I'll probably come up with it and forget it halfway through. So I have it. Actually, wait.
You have it?
Let me think a second. I have one that came up, but it's not technically an anime. But it's still a cool weapon. Oh, I have one. Yo, bro, I have it. Oh, fuck.
Okay.
I reminded myself of this entire series, and it come in buckets. That's the word of the day, or the phrase of the day.
Okay. Is it a ranged weapon?
It can be. You're not fucking getting it. You're not getting it. It can be. It's used as ranged in some events, but it's a weapon. But there's also power used as well. So does that count? I mean, he's using the weapon when he does it.
It's the weapon itself.
But the weapon works with the power. Like, that's how it works.
But the weapon doesn't have the power itself, right?
No, it does.
The weapon is what does the power. So if it's a sword and he swings it and laser beams fly out, that's because of the sword. The sword shoots the laser beams.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with him.
I mean, he needs technical prowess to wield the item. So, because he has to be able to control what comes out of it, but it's still coming out of the weapon, though. So that would,
as long as it's the weapon doing it, then that's fine.
Okay, yeah. It can be used for range.
Like Link's sword shoots when he's got full hearts, but it's not him shooting through the sword, it's the sword shooting.
Okay.
It's just...
All right, semantics. But yeah, it can be used as a ranged weapon. It's actually often used as a ranged weapon.
Okay. Is it bladed?
No.
Okay. Is it made of metal?
Oh, fuck. Yeah, it actually is, yeah. I was thinking for a second, but yeah, it is.
All right. Does it act like a boomerang?
No, it does not.
Okay. So whatever ranged attacks it does, it leaves the weapon like a laser beam or something. All right.
Yeah.
Is it an energy weapon?
Uh, e-
Like, as in like lasers and shit uses energy like electrical or whatever.
Energy comes out of it. Yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
All right, that's 5.
Oh shit! You want me to keep track, or you gotta?
I got it. I have fingers.
Gotcha.
All right. Does it have an external power source?
Oh fuck. Okay.
I just picked a simple fucking weapon and you went bananas.
Well, they are simple when you think about them, but they have a wide range of applications in the show. Initially it does, but it doesn't later. Like for the majority of its screen time, it does not. If that
God
makes
damn
sense.
it! I just started to clue into it and I lost it. Like I started to have an idea, and you kept talking. I'm like, oh, I know what that is. And then you kept talking. And
What
I
was your
lost it.
idea?
I don't know. I just lost it. I don't know.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant like when I said that it had a power source that you fucking
No, you
threw
needed
you
a
off.
power source, and then later on you could use it without. And I'm like, oh, that's like. And then my thought died.
It's like my cock ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. When
right.
when the person wielding them was weaker, it did require one, but as he got better at using the item, it did not. And it's not a conventional power source either. It's different the way it works.
Is this weapon used to defeat supernatural threats? Not preternatural threats, supernatural threats.
No, it's mostly like other people being fought for the most part. Also, it eventually becomes metal, but initially it's cloth. If that helps. It has different forms.
Didn't I just see something where the guy got a cloth thing and he was practicing it to using it like a sword or something like that? God damn
I
it.
have no idea what the fuck you're even talking about.
There was a character who was being trained.
And they got cloth. I mean,
He was
Demon Slayer
hardening it.
Oh,
He was
hardening
it. He was hard. Like he was. Oh, it was. Yeah, it was. Irregular at Magic High School.
Oh, gotcha. Because Fate, he has like a strengthening magic that you can use on like paper and shit, turn it into like a pipe or something of the density of the pipe. All right. Anything else, boy?
7. Is it worn as clothing?
Yeah.
Is it in Kill La Kill?
No, it's not.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So close.
That's a good attempt. I'll give you that.
Okay, it is worn as clothing.
Yes. That's a weapon.
Is it worn on the arm?
Yeah. What are these?
Yeah, like I don't know why, but as soon as you said Kill La Kill, as soon as I said that and you said no, like
everything,
like any ideas I had percolating just flushed.
Just
I don't know why.
flooded out of your brain, bro. I know that fucking feeling.
Okay, so it starts off as something that is not metal and it becomes metal.
Yeah.
Was it given to him?
Yes. He did not have it from jump. It was given to him. Oh, I'm reading the wiki of them to make sure I'm giving you accurate answers because it's been a while. And they are energy, but apparently I don't remember this, but the character does channel his energy through the weapon because that's what makes it stronger. The better he gets at channeling his energy through it. So the energy coming out of it is from him. I don't know if that'll help. I'm trying to help you out here.
Now I'm trying to. I'm immediately thinking of like fucking bandages on what's his face from fucking Boku no Hero.
And actually, I think the power source stays like because I think the power source doesn't change later on. I think it does stay. I guess I don't know. According to this wiki, might have been different in the manga than it was in the show. I'm not too sure.
Is the weapon considered magical?
I wouldn't say so if if it's him putting the energy through the weapon. It just works as a conduit for the energy, but it does amplify it. I wouldn't. There's never like talk of magic in the show. It's more of like everyone's just strong. Kind of. It's weird. Like no, they never like talk about magic.
Well, we've already rolled out Full Metal Alchemist. We rolled out
I've talked about the show before because I think the character is cool as fuck.
Well, it would be something we both saw, so.
I don't know if you've seen it. Did it have to
that
be
was
there?
part of the rule, is something we both seen. It's not Trigon.
Oh, I don't know if you've seen it actually. Whoops. I mean,
It's not
I've talked to you.
Chika.
I've talked to you about it.
Often.
I don't remember that rule, but I'm also fucking tired of shit. So
It's not magic.
I can give you more hints. Let me think. It's shonen, if that helps. It's older. I don't even know how old it is. It's older. I know that.
Like,
let me see.
like Hunter x Hunter older or older than that?
I think older than that even. Well, like maybe first Hunter x Hunter, but older than remake Hunter x Hunter. You think where is the wiki? I just want to know when it fucking came out. Here we go.
Everything you've described fits like Saint Seiya almost, but I know you haven't watched that.
It was first serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump on May 31st, 2004. So the manga was in 2004. It ended in 2012. The anime started in 2006 and ended in 2010. To 203 episodes. Done by Artland. It's distributed by Marvelous Entertainment. I don't know if that helped. Let me see. I'm trying to see if there's something I can give to you that will not give it away, that will help. There's a lot of characters. It's a shonen. It's an old shonen. Oh, here. How about this? This might help.
When did JoJo start?
Oh, JoJo started a while ago, but it's not JoJo. Okay, the power that's
God
being...
damn it, that would have worked too. Fuck, dude.
The power that's being moved around is fire, if that helps. So the power that's being moved is fire. The item not only can be used for ranged attack, but also helps for agility purposes, like moving around. What else can I say without giving it away? The power source is a bullet. I just think I fucked up. I probably shouldn't have picked this one. I was just thinking of something that was like obscure to make you suffer. But so you don't have any idea after all that, no?
I'm still running through a library that I didn't realize was as vast as it is.
If you knew of it, the fire, agility, and the bullet being the power source would have been the like pretty heavy giveaways. So I'm thinking you're probably just not aware as aware of it. I remember talking about it, but I don't think you've seen it.
Is this that dude from Hitman Reborn?
Maybe.
No.
It is.
I haven't seen Hitman Reborn, but that's a guess out of my ass. But I still don't remember what his weapon is.
They're gauntlets, the X gloves.
I don't know. I just
Here.
I am literally pulling like tiny details from like 60,000 conversations I've had with you, and one picture I saw and it was a guy holding a pistol.
This is what
I think he was wearing a frog on his head or something.
This is what the full Vagola version of the gauntlets look like. Yeah, but it's cool because not only does he
at least I got the show.
Yeah, not only does he use the gloves as range attacks, he has something called X Burner, which he has two types of flames. There's a soft and a heavy flame. And he can use the soft flame for maneuverability, and he uses it to fly like a jetpack almost. And he has two X gloves. There's two of them. And so a lot of him learning is like how to control the flame and how to basically like when Iron Man first learned how to fly with the repulsor beams. It's almost like that. And a lot of that was him. It was a cool fucking show.
All right, my turn.
Gotcha, bro. All right. Hopefully this one won't be as go. Okay. All right.
Mine's fucking simple, so
I got you.
I intentionally went simple for time purposes. You were the one that had to be all complicated.
Bro, I just farted so fucking hard. God, that hurt my asshole. Oh shit. You know what? The whole time, for some reason, I just thought we stopped recording. I don't know why. I just thought we were playing a game for fun.
Like, our listeners are like, what is up with this guy? What is he showing him a picture? I guess he's sending it to him. I'm not really sure. I was puzzled by your behavior, but now it makes sense.
I forgot we
were recording. What
is
your first guess?
Is the weapon made out of metal?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is it a melee weapon?
Yes.
Okay. Is it sharp? Shawn?
By all appearances, I would say that it is sharp. I would not say that sharpness is its only attribute.
Okay, because I'm trying to distinguish between like bludgeoning, like a hammer, or like a sword, or like a scythe.
It has an edge.
Okay, there's an edge. That helps. I guess that kind of helps. Can this item, if it's anime, so fucking course, but can like this item be powered up? Like, does it shoot like energy or no? Okay. Is the wielder proficient with it?
Very.
Okay. Sharp, wielder's proficient. Metal. Oh, fuck. Is the wielder a male?
Yes.
Okay. Sharp, metal, proficient, wielder's a male. Is the show recent? Like last couple years?
Yeah.
Okay.
You can say that.
So he's very proficient metal. Oh, I have something that pops into my head, and I don't know if is the item disposable?
No.
Oh god, I thought I was thinking Levi from Attack on Titan. Because he's very fucking proficient. Doesn't power up. It can be sharp, but there's other features to it.
No, it's sharp. There are other benefits to the weapon, but I don't know if I'd call them features.
Okay. That's an interesting way of putting that, but all right. Oh, fuck.
Well, you're thinking like modes or thing. No, there are no other modes.
Oh, I meant more like in design, features in design. So like maybe it's like, oh.
It is one thing.
Okay. Very proficient. He's a male. Is the show shonen?
No.
Okay. What question am I on? Do you know?
9. You just did your 9th one, so
Okay.
you're on 10.
Okay. So it's not a shonen. Said that. Very proficient. Is the show... Oh, fuck. Wait a second. Simple. God, I hate 20 questions.
I love this game, dude.
Fuck.
I'm so good at this game.
My mind is drawing. My mind's telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. Very proficient. It's metal. It's sharp. Is the item a sword?
Mm-hmm. You're halfway there.
Fuck, I don't have a single idea. We've both seen the show. It's a male, very proficient. Item's a sword. What the fuck? God damn it. I guess I could go for the person wielding it. That might help me more than the item.
In this case, I could say that's a yes.
Oh my god. Fuck. Is the character... But there's like so many questions you get asked, you could just fucking blow through all your questions.
Yeah, but ask for things that are definitely going to narrow the pool. That's the thing.
I did that with male or female. Like, what other feature? He's proficient. It's a sword. Oh, bro. Is the setting fantasy?
Mm-hmm.
Are we in a video game?
There are video games, but it is not exclusive to a video game. It is an anime.
No,
as well
like,
as a manga.
is the setting a video game, I bet?
Oh, no.
Like an isekai. No, so it's not SAO. What the fuck?
Jesus God, no. I would not want to be transported to that world. I would not last long. I think I might run a chance of lasting in fucking SAO.
Is
SAO has rules.
Oh. Wait a second. Wait a second here. I'm probably fucking wrong, but is there a particularly is there something that needs to be genocided by this character?
No.
Fuck, this is not Demon Slayer?
Like,
or no, Goblin Slayer? Fuck.
No, plus he doesn't have a specific weapon. He just constantly breaks and reuses swords.
I mean, it's still a sword.
True. But this is a specific weapon.
So this world sucks, by the way. Is it Demon Slayer?
No.
Oh, that counts as a question, right? So I'm like on what, 15?
Well, yeah. If you said, is it this specific weapon, then you would lose. But you haven't done that. You asked if it was Demon Slayer. I'm not going to count that.
Oh, okay, I got you. Oh, that's right, because I have to find the character and then find the sword, which should be easy, but it's not always the case. What the fuck? He's proficient. It's metal.
You have the added benefit of knowing what shows I love. That's a good place to start.
Well,
focus on the character. You're not asking any questions about the character.
Listen,
You're like, I'm going to focus on the character. Then you ask nothing about the character.
A Kyle that was fully here would have the benefit of knowing your favorite shows.
Question.
But I'm literally dying.
What is your question?
Question.
Like, the listeners are just like, he's fucking dying. This guy is dying. Like, I had the deck stacked against me. You have the deck stacked in your favor, and you have 7 questions left.
Fuck you. The character. I don't know. Like, what the fuck? Let me think. He's proficient with a metal weapon that's sharp. It's a man.
Here's your. I was going to give you one hint. Here's another one. He is the only one proficient with this weapon.
It doesn't fucking help whatsoever.
There is no one else that uses this weapon.
I'm gonna feel so dumb when you finally tell me, but I can't. I'm drawing blanks across the board. Does he have a love interest?
Yes.
See, I asked that thinking it would help, and you gave me the answer that I thought would be yes, and it didn't help whatsoever. Oh,
you're killing me.
Fucking suck at this. Oh my god, I'm sure this is so enthralling to listen to. I don't even think that's a word. Don't listen to me,
This is
listeners. It is? Cool.
Enthralling? Yeah, that's a word.
Oh, cool. I said it and it sounded wrong. So he has a love interest. He's the only one proficient with his weapon. What the fuck? Is the show a comedy?
Never. No, not never. Rarely.
What the fuck?
There are tiny moments of humor here and there, but
You get the
not
hint
often.
that the world sucked. You don't want to be there.
The world does suck.
What
The world is like Goblin Slayer level suck. Worse.
What the
Worse
fuck?
than that, actually.
I can't. I just nothing coming to mind. Oh. Has this character been fucked over since birth?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Been fucked over since birth? See, the thing is, when I think of the weapon, okay, is this set in a... Wow, I'm just blowing through questions. Is this set in ancient Japan?
No.
It's not Dororo. Okay, never mind. And he's been fucked since birth. God, bro.
Ancient Japan is not a fantasy.
Oh, you got a point.
Although the
Dororo
is
a fantasy, yeah.
But the setting is not. Well, I mean, the setting is a fantastic version of ancient Japan, but whatever. This is pure fantasy.
See, at this point, now I'm just confusing myself because I'm opening up more avenues for stuff, but it's just drawing blanks. So I'm just
You have
getting
4 questions left, so I'm going to give it to you. He uses one arm.
That didn't help.
He's a one arm. He doesn't fight. He that's a big deal for this guy to be able to use one arm to fight, whereas most people are known for fighting with 2 arms or like a sword and a shield or more conventional styles. He does not fight conventionally.
What? I can't think of it. What the fuck?
Really?
No. He uses one arm. It's a
Yeah,
fantasy.
Where most people do. Let's put it this way: the one arm thing, this is going to throw you off. He does not fight conventionally. It is a fantasy. He has special armor.
You're just confusing me now. Now I'm just confused.
Like all the like fucking listeners are like, God, it's this.
Nah. We're the weebiest of the weebs. Sam's probably yelling at his TV right now or whatever he's listening on because he probably's got
He has a winking problem
a winking problem. What the fuck?
of sorts. Yeah.
So what you've done is you've taken all the possible rows I had opened up with my questions and you built giant rock blockades on them with your hints.
By giving you more information.
You have completely annihilated anything that I had thought of up until this point.
He is friends with a rogue, a witch.
Stop telling me stuff.
Okay.
Because you're saying help. A rogue and a witch. What the
Yep.
fuck? He's the only one that can use his weapon. It's a fantasy. He fights one-handed. And it can be sharp. A rogue and a witch.
He can fight two-handed, but
He doesn't.
it's uncommon for his fighting style to be one-handed.
I guess I can. Do I now for the weapon? See, I don't even fucking know. I'd have to name it, right? Does it have a name? Does the weapon have a name?
Well, you could say, like, if you can name the dude, you could say his weapon. That would be sufficient, I would think, because he never gave it a true name.
Okay. Welp. I'm gonna let you know, bro. I'm drawing a blank here. I almost burped in the mic. I apologize. I don't know, dude. Is there any other hints you can give me, Elfir? I'll admit defeat. I just want to find it out.
I will say that his sword did get a name. I didn't know that.
Oh, it did?
It's called the Dragon Slayer, or it's just called Dragon Slayer. But that was the second one. The first one didn't have a name.
See, now I'm saying you've just confused me.
They look almost identical. The second one's just a stronger weapon.
Fights with one hand. Dragon Slayer. This poop is creeping up on me.
The first sword looked more like it had a one edge, whereas Dragon Slayer has two edges. It's a dual-edged sword, like a long sword or a short sword. Whereas the first one was more like a buster sword, only had a edge on one side. Or a katana, or pretty much any other. So I don't know why buster sword came to mind.
I don't know, bro. Fuck, I can't think of anything. I can't think of a single thing. That's his one hand, or unconventional. At least I need to stop thinking about the one hand fighting. He's unconventional. I'm like caressing. All right. I'm like caressing.
Give it away. He trained to use this weapon by swinging a normal sword with logs tied to it.
Excuse me? Wait, is it Guts?
It is Guts, yes. I mean, you were like, God damn it, I don't understand why that took so fucking long.
I don't know.
It was Guts' sword.
I don't know all that much about Berserk, to be entirely honest.
But you've seen it.
Did I ever say I've seen it?
Yes.
Oh, then I might have lied. I don't know. I remember reading.
You watched it with me.
Berserk?
Parts of it. Yeah, parts of it. Yeah.
I remember reading initially some of it because I didn't want to watch any of it because I'd feel like I'd have to throw up every 15 minutes.
Lift a massive sword that big. It's sharp, but the real damage of it is the fact that there's so much weight pushing that sharp edge, combined with his strength. He by himself, I mean, he's cursed, but he's not a magical person. It doesn't have any special abilities. It's just a massive wedge of fucking steel falling on people.
Yeah. That was a shot.
But it's gotta be, it's sharp. It cuts people in half.
And you know the weird thing is the log thing didn't help me whatsoever. It's just for some reason.
It's because I said Buster Sword. I said that intentionally because the Buster Sword is a giant sword wielded by only Cloud doesn't swing the Buster Sword. I mean, when he's doing the ending move where he spins it above his head, he uses one hand, but when he's swinging it, he uses two.
Gotcha.
But Buster Sword, I thought, might stick it in there because Guts' first sword looked like a Buster Sword. A little bit, had a curved tip instead of an angled tip, but...
Oh, man. I feel you. All right.
Anyway, hugs and kisses and all your pink parts. It's anime time. We gotta go.
Oh, yeah, dude. Good episode.
And Kyle's going to leave you with a thought.
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
The starfish has no brain. Okay, goodbye, guys.
Wait. Yo, bro, this poop is, like, literally at Satan's door, bro.
DEFCON 5!
Yeah, bro. I feel it. It's cresting. I feel it leaving my butthole as we speak.
This is definitely going to get us more listeners. This is a... The defecation stuff, that's all up there.
Yeah, we had a whole episode about poop. Get out of here. We had 2 episodes talking about poop.
Yeah, you remember things differently than I do.
I know we had one that was like... There was a poop story about someone shitting somewhere. The sex story. I don't remember. I remember making the thumbnail for it. I'll make some fire-ass thumbnails. Here we go. All right, boys. Appreciate everyone for hanging out.
Was this the one where he pulled out the anal beads like he was rip starting a lawnmower? Was it that one?
That one.
Yeah, that was my buddy Justin.
Yeah. All right. Boys, we appreciate everyone for, if you're still hanging around, don't fucking know how, but we appreciate it. Next week will be much more prepared for, and hopefully I don't have to do anything on Sunday. I need to just tell people I'm not going to do anything on Sunday anymore, because it always fucks over the rest of the day and screws everything up. But I have a fact for y'all. Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your week. We appreciate y'all for tuning in. But before we go, I shall leave y'all with a thought. Walt Disney was afraid of mice.